Welcome everyone, we are Cats in Camo, here today with the Diamondback DB-9.
Are you sure it's little? Can't see it. We're here with the world's tiniest 9mm carry gun. And now I already started running through our specs. So as long as I started it, let's just get through this. This is a 9mm carry gun. It holds 6 rounds. It weighs in at 11.5 ounces.
The barrel length of this gun comes in at 3 inches even, and the total length of the gun comes out to 5.6 inches. The width of the gun comes in at under an inch at 0.8 inches, and the height comes out to just 4 inches. Very tiny.
This is a little gun. We're going to have to use close-ups while I take it apart.
It's possible. Alright guys, tiny gun time. And I don't do too well with tiny guns, at least not so far, so we'll see how this one goes. But first, let's take a look at it and see. First things first, we're going to check for clear. Oh, that's a tight pull, but oh, that's empty. Okay, nothing in the chamber. And just looking at it, it looks like a Glock, like a fancy Glock, because it's got the stippling on here, but the top looks like a Glock. But holding it in either hand just to get a feel. It feels comfortable just holding it. I like these grips. It doesn't have the grooves that I like, but it's still just holding it comfy. It's a comfy little gun. Buttons. Okay. Mag release. It's just on one side. Okay. Drop it. Seems to work. It's a little hard to push, but it's a little gun. So, there's this little lever, I guess, button lever thingy that looks like it has to do with the takedown process. Got, I don't know if it's 3 white dots because there's the white dots, but then there's other dots. And again, I know the camera's not gonna pick this up, otherwise I tried to show you guys. So there might be a luminescent in there, maybe. Let's try to put it on point and see. Oh, that's it. This is really light. This is super light. Like, and it makes it so easy to keep it going from point to point. And I think that's actually one of the interesting things about this gun is, I mean, yeah, it's tiny, and it only weighs 11 ounces, but it's actually one of the lightest striker fire guns, or striker fire pistols at least, out there. But yeah, I mean, very lightweight. So that's probably a big bonus. But anyways, we're going to hand this over to Dan now, and he's going to show us how to take it apart and put it back together.
Okay, we're going to disassemble Mighty Mouse. Tiny little Diamondback DB-9. As always, show clear. Push the recessed magazine release button. Take the magazine out. This comes down like a Glock. Tiny little tabs on both sides. If you look close, they're at the top of the cut. We're going to pull back on the slide slightly, grip these from either side, and pull them down. So pull it back, pull down on the tabs, let it come forwards. Pull the trigger. That's why you show clear. Make sure you're empty because you have to pull the trigger. Take the slide apart. Once you've done that, though, really easy. Be careful when you take it apart. It is not a double capture spring. That's loose and can go flying across the room. Always embarrassing. Barrel comes out. But there you go. This is a little gun, but unlike some of its competitors that make it very difficult to take apart and put back together because of the size, they actually did a really good job with this, making it easy to take apart. Putting it back together, you saw that. Put it on the rails, and simply, it's done. Magazine in. Rack it a couple times to make sure it's clean. It is safe to dry fire. I like to leave guns with what you consider a dead trigger where it can't fire. That's the DB-9, disassembled and put back together.
Alright guys, we are out on the range with our Diamondback DB-9. Yay! Getting ready to do some paper shooting.
If you can't see it, it's not just a camouflage. This is a tiny gun when it's in someone's hands. It's tiny anyway. This is the DB-9 millimeter. So we're gonna do 5 and 5. It's really little. You should like it. It should fit your hands well. But because it's little and it's very cold, I'm gonna go ahead and rack the slide for you.
Thank you.
And promptly have a problem with it because I went slow. All right, you are loaded and chambered.
Here we go. Of course, you all know how I like little guns and how I've reviewed them so far. So let's see what this one does it by comparison. Nervous. Can't get my fingers in.
There you go.
That is the longest pull I have ever felt
It's a
on a
long
trigger.
trigger pull.
Oh,
I have a pristine plate at the top. Hopefully after 5 rounds it will no longer be pristine. But let's see how this little guy does. This is tiny. With gloves on, I can barely feel the gun. Ooh, pulled that one back. And that one. My first shot was a bullseye. After that, it got worse, which I think was actually more function of the regular gloves. We're going to shoot steel next, and I'm going to switch over to the little Magpul gloves, see if it gives me a better feel for this gun.
thank you guys so much for stopping by. And if you enjoyed this video, point those crosshairs to the like button down below. And make sure to stay tuned for part 2, coming later this week. See you then.